Now at 8, a family demanding answers tonight after a visitor was found inside a California state prison.
KCAL News assignment editor Mike Rogers back at the desk now. Mike, you spoke with the family. Lots of questions tonight about how this could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of questions, to say the least, in this situation. And just before the show, I had a chance to speak with the family of this woman. Her name is Stephanie. She went up to Mule Creek State Prison. That's up in Amador County. She went there to have a series of nights with her husband in a family visiting unit of the prison. I want to show you some pictures of Stephanie while I tell you exactly what happened here, because according to the Amador County Sheriff's Department and CDCR, at some point in the middle of the night, the person that she was in there to visit, by the way, convicted of 4 here in Los Angeles County in the 1990s, called into the prison staff to say she wasn't breathing. It wasn't for another 2 weeks after her death that her family was notified that something seemed suspicious about the case. And it wasn't until last Friday that they were finally notified that this, in fact, was a homicide, that she died by strangulation. Now, the man she was in there to see, her husband, has not been charged, has not even been named as a suspect to us when we inquired about the case. Tonight, the family is remembering her, and they're frustrated about what was allowed to happen in that prison.
She would do toy drives during the holiday to give back to the community. She was just a very giving person.
It's very frustrating, especially because they haven't charged anything yet. They just know that it's a homicide, but nobody's been charged or prosecuted or anything. So it's a very frustrating role because we know it was just him and her in the room, nobody else. No supervision, no phones. They take her phone, they take all her belongings. So what hope does she have?
They are accountable. They are accountable. You know, it was my mother's choice as a grown woman to be there with the person that she was with, but they're accountable for the type of protection that they provide for these people when they provide a service like this.
Yeah, now it should be pointed out that these family visiting units are separate from the main housing unit of the prison. They are not supervised. There is no guard inside of these units. There are no cameras inside of these units. There is a phone. And according to the family, every now and again, a prison staff member would come by and have them check in. They don't think that's enough at all. I asked CDCR if they believe that it's appropriate for somebody to be convicted of 4s to be allowed to be alone unsupervised with somebody who is not incarcerated at the prison. They say that there is a rigorous set of rules that come with these family visits. I just went through the regulations for the California Code of Rehabilitation, and it doesn't say anything about a conviction of the person and what they had. It talks about their conduct in prison. By the way, they're only ineligible for these visits if it was a violent crime against a minor or a family member. So now we will wait to see if they will end up charging him. I did reach out to the Amador County District Attorney's Office. I've not heard back, by the way. Those were here in LA County in the 90s. And Stephanie, also from Los Angeles.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for that update.
All right. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises to the Most High. And the story that you see is very perplexing to me as well as the family. When someone first sent me this story, I automatically thought of foul play. But I thought of foul play by the prison system, you know, a prison guard or things like that. But as I began to detail and dive into this article, I realized that even though the prison is probably somewhat culpable at fault, I can't, just like the family, blame anyone but this man. And that is 54-year-old David Brinson, who was the husband of this lovely lady right here, Stephanie Dowells, who was 62 at the time of her demise. Very beautiful lady, and I do want to offer condolences and prayers to her family. But this story happened at Mule Creek Prison in Amador County in California, where apparently they still allow conjugal visits, which I haven't heard of in a long time. I speak with a lot of people in prison, and they've never mentioned conjugal visits. Maybe California is still kind of lenient in that area. But the story goes, Miss Dowell went to see her husband, who has already been convicted of taking the lives of 4 people and serving 4 consecutive life sentences for his crimes that stem from a robbery in the 1990s. Now, I'm not sure. I would assume that these individuals were not together at the time he went to prison. Now, once again, I have to assume. I'm not sure. But evidently, she met him in prison. The family states that, they would read the Bible together, and, he was in school and he was trying to better himself, like a lot of inmates do, especially when they are trying to impress a woman. But one thing that has always stuck out to me, if this is the case with that, as the son said, it was, it was her own decision to be in there with a person of that, past character. Now, I'm not saying that no one or anyone is beyond rehabilitation or redemption. But what I am saying is it has always perplexed me when women, especially able-bodied, beautiful women, attach themselves to men who are never getting out of prison and begin, those long-term relationship and marriages. I've spoken with people, once again, who have met their husbands while they're serving a life sentence and chose to marry them. And, I've been in support groups with them, so I never posed that question because, I didn't want to be disrespectful or question their judgment. But that always seemed, something strange to me when we have a lot of able-bodied men outside who have, who are not risking the possibility of never being in the free world again. So I'm not sure if they're just looking for emotional support, someone, or to depend on them. Maybe they are interdependent. I have no clue. You guys, please let me know in the comments. But this happened on their conjugal visits, where inmates are given 30 to 40 hours in a housing-like facility separate from the prison, in which the inmate and their significant other, their wives, are allowed to, have that time together. And according to, the article, the guards are supposed to come back, come by and check every, 3 to 4 hours or something of that nature. However, during this visit, 54-year-old David Brinson alerted guards that, his wife was not breathing. Initially, he said that she had passed out, but now, a few weeks later, it has been confirmed, by autopsies and medical examinations that she expired by strangulation. However, as the family notes, that no one has been named a suspect. Even the husband, who was the only one in the room with her, is not named a suspect, and I don't see how that could be. Now, the family, once again, suspects him doing that, but also they hold the prison with some sort of responsibility by making sure that, these individuals are monitored or watched during these types of visits. And so this happened in November of last year. And actually, there's another lady who recently expired on a similar visit in a similar fashion. And I'm going to share that story with you a little later. So that also raises the question, okay, well, is it these inmates, or is it, something more sinister that, of course, in prisons, they are able to cover up by certain measures. But prayers and, condolences go to the family. There's a little more detailed article that I'll share with you real quick that gives a little more details. And here it is. California woman having a conjugal visit with her husband, a convicted unaliver serving 4 life terms, and said he tried to play it off by saying she was passed out, according to the police. This happened once again in November 2024. It has been a 4-month investigation since November. So this article is 6 days ago. It is surprising, as someone with Brinson's criminal history, which includes gunning down 4 people during a 1994 robbery, was able to have conjugal visits regardless of their relationship status. Given the history that this guy has, we wanted to know, how is this even possible for them to be unsupervised? How could they just let this happen? I don't get it. My mom was just left alone and she called for help, I'm sure, and there's nothing she could do. It does remain under investigation. They suspected he did it sometime before 3 a.m. No other suspects or witnesses were identified. Brinson claims that Dowell passed out with him notifying prison staff in an attempt to get help. This goes to, once again, the draw in or the bait and switch. I would say they would read the Bible together. He was in school and there because she was pushing him to try to better his person. Once again, they go back into his criminal record. They are allowed to have conjugal visits in private apartment-like facilities, which are supposed to last 30 to 40 hours to give couples time to be impotent. And these are a privilege given to people who have demonstrated and sustained good behavior. And so this article gives a little more details, but we don't know all of the details to this particular situation. But what I do know is a lot of times, and I've been, in prison myself, and, a lot of guys look for gullible, naive women. And, when you're in there, you're on top of your game. Your mind is sharp. You know all the right things to say. You're healthy, and you don't have anything else to do but plot and plan. And, if he's calling her every day, every hour on the hour, showing that attention that she's not getting, elsewhere, I assume that, you can be drawn in. But, just looking at my brother, once again, not to pass judgment, that's somebody who's already been in for, 30 plus years. So he's definitely hardened. He's definitely, once again, I can't pass judgment, but I know 30-year guys who've done 30 years, there's a definite, different mindset, I'll just say, to the action. So once again, prayers going out to that family. We'll see how this situation unfolds. And I think it was just a day or two ago, another woman was found at the same prison in similar circumstances. So we'll bring you some information on that. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments about this. What do you think about women who, get engaged and married and, befriend or start long-term relationships with guys who are never getting out of prison? Once again, that's always perplexed me. But y'all let me know. 919-587-7782. Peace and blessings.